Hello. Welcome to Visionaryx, our podcast where you can have real and simple conversations with us about various tools and technologies. I'm Git, and
I'm Docker. In this podcast, we dive into exciting discussions about simple and deep technical topics in the world of DevOps and cloud. You can find the full transcript of this episode on our website, visionaryx.tech, to follow along with us. Stay tuned and enjoy the adventures in the world of technology.
hello. I'm Git.
Hi there. I'm Docker.
Nice to meet you, Docker. Oh, I just noticed, you have 2 more characters in your name than I do.
Wow, you're observant. I like that. Speaking of noticing things, I've been looking for 2 of my friends. Wish I could find them to show you.
That's interesting. Say, did you come down here because the system is in single user mode?
Yes, exactly. It's in recovery mode up there, so I thought I'd come down for a bit of a change. It's not my usual hangout, though. What about you?
Same here. Where are we exactly? It looks familiar, but I can't quite place it.
This is kernel land. It's where the core of the operating system lives.
Ah, kernel land. You know, it's not entirely unfamiliar. Back when I was first created, Linus made me to help develop the kernel. I have some fuzzy memories of being here. And later, around 2010, when companies wanted to embed me in their OS, I visited quite often.
That's quite a history. Are you always hanging out here?
Oh no, I'm usually in user land. What about you? Are you a permanent resident here?
No way. I'm a user land dweller too. I have friends and files here, but my job is creating containers. I can even package you up. Or a DHCP server, for that matter.
Wow, that's impressive. Say, I noticed you doing something earlier that looked familiar. What was that about?
Oh, you mean when I save a box? I call it a commit. When I commit, I save all the changes made to a container.
Commit. I use that subcommand too. Tell me more about your commit.
Sure. When I commit, I create a new layer. It's like a thin slice of changes.
Layers? That's clever. I save whole files, but I'm good at finding differences.
Differences are important. How do you handle them?
By the way, I use something called SHA1. It helps me know if things have changed.
SHA1? Sounds fancy. I use IDs for my images. They are like names for box pictures.
Yeah, but it's not that complicated. Let me explain with some real-life examples.
Oh, great. I love practical examples.
Well, think about the fingerprint system at your gym. Every time you go, you scan your fingerprint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That system is actually generating a unique code for your fingerprint. Just like what I do with SHA1 for each change in the code.
Oh, interesting. So each code change is like a new fingerprint.
Exactly. Or consider car license plates. Each car has a unique plate, just like I generate a unique SHA1 code for each version of the code.
Oh, this is much clearer now. I use a similar system for tagging my images.
Exactly. And you know what? This SHA1 I use produces a 160-bit output that's really suitable. It's long enough to reduce the chance of collisions, but not so long that it can't be managed.
Wow, how clever! That's like me having a unique serial number for each container.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, SHA1 is pretty fast, which is important for working with large projects. It's like in a big store, you can quickly scan a barcode and instantly find information about each product.
Wow, that's really efficient. But do you always use SHA1?
Well, to be honest, we're moving towards stronger algorithms like SHA256. It's like upgrading from an old security system to a newer, more advanced one.
That's fascinating. It's like we're always improving and upgrading, just like programmers and DevOps engineers who face new challenges every day and find better solutions.
Exactly. And that's what makes our job exciting. Speaking of exciting tasks, how do you handle pulling and pushing your containers? That must be an interesting part of your job too.
Well, I use a push and pull system too. But let me clarify, dear Git, containers are the result of my work, but I push and pull images. I can use HTTP, HTTPS, or SSH to transfer my images to and from registries. These images then become containers when they are run. What about you? How do you handle your repositories?
I have a similar system. I use HTTP, SSH, and even my own Git protocol. It's how developers share their code changes.
That's neat. We're more alike than I thought. But tell me, how did you end up being part of so many operating systems?
It was a gradual process. Many Linux distributions started including me by default in the late 2000s and early 2010s. But it varies, some lightweight distros might still require a separate installation.
I see. And how do you interact with the kernel? I'm curious because I often need to for my containers.
Well, I'm primarily a user space application. I don't make changes to the kernel, but I do use kernel services indirectly. Like the file system for reading and writing files. Process management for running Git commands. Memory management, and sockets for network operations.
That's similar to how I work. I also rely on kernel features for my containers, but most of my work is in user space.
It seems we have a lot in common. Oh, I think I hear something. It sounds like the system might be coming out of recovery mode.
You're right. I guess it's time for us to head back up to user land. This has been a fascinating chat.
Indeed it has. It's been great learning about our similarities and differences. Shall we go?
Absolutely. Let's head back and continue our important work in the software ecosystem. After you, my version control friend.
Thank you, my containerized companion. Oh, wait. Who were those two friends of yours you mentioned earlier?
Oh, you mean cgroup and namespace. I'll show them to you next time.
Sounds interesting. Until we meet again in user land.
Thank you for listening to Visionaryx. You can find more technical and practical discussions on our website visionaryx.tech.
Next time, we'll be talking about Kubernetes.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.